So anyway, this is Gail. I'm teaching our Chair Tai Chi class today here Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Central Time, Texas time, or Chicago time. And next week it is gentle yoga for back care. So let's start our class. We're going to take that right fist, that's the sun, and that flat left palm, that's the moon. And then we bow down to one another to start our Chair Tai Chi class today. So welcome. So what I like to do is I like to sit away from the back of the chair. I don't like to have my booty scooched into the corner because we do a lot of movements that require us, to bring legs out and to the side and some other movements. But this also encourages to have tall posture, or the best posture that we can do, but we're engaging the core when we do that. So let's start with the breath. So find your belly button. So kind of poke around, find where it is, and then we're going to do 2 finger widths below that, kind of at the knuckle closest to the palm. And then you take your finger out of your belly button and hop it down below. And that's the middle of your collection center, your dantian, or since I practice Korean martial arts, we call it the danjan. So you're going to take the middle of the palm, place it in that space approximately, and the hand above that. And as I was mentioning before, we're going to do low belly breathing. Do the best you can. If it feels weird, you don't like it, just breathe. So here we go. Going to breathe in, and we're going to expand that low belly. The chest expands also. So here we go. Breathe in, belly out. And as we exhale, really draw that belly button towards your spine. Get all that air out. Again, breathe in, belly out, slow, slow, slow. Exhale, belly button towards your spine. Relax those shoulders. Again, breathe in, belly out. And exhaling. Beautiful. We're going to start with that Atlas point rotation. So it's to soften the stuff around the shoulders, the neck. Yeah. We're going to take that nose and draw a circle. You may hear some crunchy things, some snap, crackle, pops happening when you do this. You may notice one side or one particular area in this circle maybe feel a little stiff. Mine, to me, sounds a little bit about like Rice Krispie cereal happening when I do this. Doesn't hurt, but it's just a lot of noise, let me tell you. My brother loves this one. He was like, oh man, this just feels so good for my neck. And then let's pause, and then we're going to take it in the other direction. So slowly. Now, if this makes you feel dizzy because your eyes are following the direction of the nose, have your eyes look straight instead. When you do that, you'll get a little bonus of an eye exercise. But if you have the eyes follow the nose, that's cool too. And notice the sounds that may or may not be occurring on this side. I'm hearing a little bit more stuff. That's the operative word, stuff. And then let's bring it back to the center. Next is going to be spread the feathers. So we're going to be like spreading out the hands like they were feathers on a bird. We take one hand out to the side. Now I'm going to lower my arm just a little bit. And take that thumb and turn it to the back of the room. So I'm activating the meridians on both sides of the arms here. Now with the other opposite ear, let's drop the ear towards the shoulder. Ooh, more carotid blood flow to the brain here. So improve blood flow to the brain, opens that carotid a little bit. And you're going to feel a little stuff going on in that bicep, tricep. And we're going to add on to this a little bit. I'm going to take the chin, turn it towards that opposite shoulder. Again, go and be cautious here. Then we're going to bring the chin where the wall meets the ceiling. So bring it up. And then with the chin, we'll draw a half circle or a smile. So bring the chin towards the chest. Woo. And then towards that extended arm side. And release. So yeah, we kind of held that arm out, turned it out to the back of the room just to be in the posture a little bit. Other side, spread the feathers out to the side. And again, I lower it a little bit. And then I'm going to turn that thumb to the back of the room to activate the muscles on that extended arm. I'm going to sit up tall because I kind of slumped there a little bit. So y'all sit up tall too, okay? We're going to take that opposite ear, drop it towards the shoulder. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll drop my arm out to the side to go a little bit deeper, but sometimes that doesn't feel good. So maybe I'll put my hand back on my leg. Woo, Again, lovely blood flow into the brain, always trying to get more nutrients into the brain, yeah? Neuroplasticity. We're going to take that chin and turn it towards the shoulder. Again, notice if you feel some stiffness going on here. And again, don't forget to turn that thumb to the back of the room. Okay. And then we're going to take the chin and point it towards where the wall meets the ceiling, or in that general direction. And then we're going to take that chin and draw a half circle or a smile. So chin down towards the chest, nice and slow, of course, and then towards that extended arm side, and then release. Beautiful. Next is swimming dragon. So hands together. This is for lessening neck pain, kind of noticing your range of motion going on, but we're going to add on a little bit to it. So we're not just gently pressing the hands together. Let's think about pushing into each finger with a little bit of resistance. And to the thumb, into the palm as best you can. And again, wiggle those shoulders a little bit, feet a little wide if you need to. And then we're going to breathe in, expand that belly. And as we exhale, draw the belly button towards the spine and push the hands one direction and turn the head the other direction. Just notice your natural range of motion here. Let's inhale, bring it back to the center. And then exhale, belly button tight, push it the other direction. Inhaling back to the center. Again, exhale, push it away, press into those fingers, into the palms. Inhaling back to the center. Exhale, push it away. And then on this inhale breath, that's the last one. Bring it in. Beautiful. Let's do the shaking gong, kind of bring energy into our arms. And you can just shake, shake, shake. You kind of shake it to where you can't really see the hands. So you kind of shake it fast if you can. And then let's bring it up. So some of these postures can be done standing. If you prefer to do standing instead of seated, you may. And we're going to turn from the quad, from the inguinal crease to the side. Shake, shake, shake. Back to the center and over to the other side. And then back to the center. And I'm going to bring it down. I'm doing palms down to begin with. And then I'm going to pause and palms up. So that's good for that carpal tunnel business. All right. And then from here, let's bring the hands to the center and spin those wrists. Trying to think. This is good for carpal tunnel also. And I'm also noticing my left doesn't spin quite the same as my right. And then pause and reverse. You may be noticing some sensations happening in the palms, in the fingers. So this loosens the wrists, good for carpal tunnel. Very good. And then let's pause. Notice if you feel any kind of tingling sensation going on here, and you might. And then we're going to cup the hands and throw the arms. So this is not only good for the elbows, but it's good for those shoulder joints. Arm throws is what I like to call this. Also, I can hear snap, crackle, pop on one side. Helps to kind of get a little mobility into shoulder joints. Now, if we can, tap the tops of the shoulders or tops of the back. I guess it's top of the shoulders. So a little extra kind of bend in those elbows. You may notice a little kind of sway forward and back. Let's do two more, 2 and 1, and then just kind of let it slow down. Again, you might notice some sensation in the hands. In fact, let's just take those hands. We're going to spread them out and take them out to the sides. And just notice if the fingers feel heavy or different than the rest of the body, maybe the palms also. So we're just kind of letting that energy dissipate into the earth, okay? Very good. So let's clap the hands and get a little heat into the fingers, into the palms. Move it into the fingers. Very nice. Next, we'll do the big 6. It's a lymphatic drainage. So we're going to take these warm hands here and spread them out and bring them across above and below your collarbone. You may have heard about this. Dr. Parry Nicholson, he coined the term big 6 areas that you manually palpitate touch to kind of get that lymphatic fluid flowing through your body. You can also tap, tap, tap across. There's so many different techniques to do this, but this is the one I remember the best, the big six. This is area number one. Let's go over to the other side. Again, you can spread out the hands above and below the collarbone. So that gets the area here at the neck and below the collarbone. So we kind of have like little dipped in areas there. And again, you can tap, tap, tap. I got to move my hair out of the way. And again, that cerebral spinal fluid that we're trying to get from the brain out into our bodies, go into that subclavian vein on that left side. There's a manual way to kind of simulate that. Just notice that you may have extra sinus drainage when this happens. So again, I'm going to spread out my hands, my fingers in front and in back of my ears. I'm going to bring it down the sides of the neck. I'm going to do one side at a time. I don't like to mess around with the carotid both at the same time. Sometimes maybe I'm a little too vigorous. Yeah, it could happen. And then down the jawline. So, when you go to the doctor and you're feeling ill, they're going to go palpitate, here in the neck to see if you have a swollen lymph node or a gland. So I'm just trying to keep all this clear so I don't have to go to the doctor, okay? Other side, here we go. In front and in back of the ear. So it's like a nice little tug down. You can like alternate down the jaw, down the neck, or you can just do down the neck, down the neck, down the neck, and then down the jawline. Now try to also get back here at the back of the head because we have a lot of lymph node nests here around that round part of the back of the skull, the occiput. Very good. And in fact, let's do a little bit of brain tapping while we're here. We take the pads of the fingers and tap, tap, tap. So we're going down the mohawk first, okay? So tap down the mohawk. Be sure to get the back of the head. And then, make it a little bit wider. All the meridians travel through our skull. And then get the sides, and then get that little occiput there, that little bumpy part, okay? Well, I don't normally do this one, but I thought, oh, that's going to feel good. Again, boosting our brain. All right, so areas 1 and 2, collarbone, the neck area. Next is the armpit. So you can just, take your hand in there and just kind of rub. Now my thumb is in here also to massage that pectoral, or you can tap, tap, tap. Or you can kind of dig or pound. So again, men and women that get breast cancer, this is the area they check. Did the cancer move to this lymph node nest? I make a little sound when I do this. Other side. So this is part of our Qigong detoxing. There's a, kind of specific ways to do this in Qigong class. But they cover the same area. So I thought we'd just do the big six. It's because it's very logical to me. And again, you can rub, scrub, scrub. Now I have scar tissue from my heart surgery and they went in through my ribs. So I'll often tap my scars because if you don't, again, the lymphatic fluid can't flow freely. Let me get the other one. That's just an extra. All right, so then I'm going to take my feet a little wide here. And again, today, chair Tai Chi, a little bit of tapping, a little Qigong detoxing. We're going to take the fingers again and find the bottom of the ribs. And then what I like to do, because the diaphragm kind of sits up and in there, and if I've kind of have challenged breathing, I'll stroke across the bottom of the ribs where that diaphragm sits. Now, it might be spicy. Go slower, be sweeter with your touch. And then I just kind of move it down a little bit. And then I start the drums. Open hands, fists, you can chop. It's whatever you need to do. You can also do like circles, but if you're doing circles and you want to help with a better restroom experience, go from the top to the left and then make your circle, okay? Because that's kind of in the direction of how we digest and eliminate. All right. Now the next one, I'm going to bring my feet a little bit more forward where the leg inserts into the torso. We've got this crease going on here. It's called the inguinal crease, or in Tai Chi, it's called the qua. And I like to take the sides of the hands, that's the heart meridian, by the way, and chop the qua. I make sure I don't have any loose change in my pockets or keys. It'll be like, ow. So, women, they get ovarian, uterine cancer, bladder cancer. For men and women, prostate cancer. This is the area they check. Did the cancer move to this area? So chop it, chop it, chop it. And then let's go to the last area, number 6, back of the knee. So scrub, rub the back of the knee. You have swelling and edema in the feet. You need to go 1 through 6 to clear the edema. That's from the very bottoms, because it goes from low to high pressure. So you're going to be bringing all that waste back through that subclavian vein. So kind of tap, scrub, rub back behind here. Very good. And now we got us all set up now. Now let's sit up nice and tall, clap the hands. Again, a little bit of heat here. And from here, let's inhale, circle, sweep arms up. And the hands come down to heart center, or bringing down the energy from the universe back down to our Danti end, that cauldron that collects energy, and then we send it out through our bodies to help with healing and with our aches and pains. From here, let's go ahead and do a little bit of knee strengthening. So we're going to scoot back in our chair. Oh, it didn't squeak that time. And then from here, I invite you to press your foot forward. So I'm doing a heel forward, toes towards me. So basically you're strengthening the musculature, the ligaments here around the knee, and then lower and you're hovering, and then point the toe and release. Let's do the other side. So flex that heel, toes towards the sky. You may have to lift your leg if it feels weird on the chair. It does for me. And again, it might feel a little spicy, but we don't stay here for very long. And then we lower and then point the toe and release. Now we're going to add on a little bit of brain boosting to that. So we're going to flex the heel, toes towards you, then flex the opposite arm. It's like a stop sign here, okay? And then lower, then point the toes, point the fingers. Now really draw your belly button towards your spine and do that weird fake basketball dribble. So again, activating the core, maybe a little bit of back too, yeah? And release. Other side, here we go. Flex that heel, flex that palm, your little stop sign there. Woo! And then lower and point the toe, point the fingers, and then up and down. Again, you maybe feel the lower abdominals, the mid, the upper, the back muscles, and release. Now don't hold your breath. I was holding my breath. Let's do the other side. So flex the foot, flex both hands. This is getting serious now. And then lower and point the toe, point the fingers, and then kind of up and down with those hands. And then if you can, both at the same time. Ooh, that's challenging. And release. Woo! Other side. Flex that foot, flex both hands, upper, lower body, left and right. And then lower, little brain boosting going on here. And then point the toes, point the fingers. Contract those abdominals, get that alternating basketball weird dribble going on here. And then both at the same time. And release. Scoot forward a little bit. Let's inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Bring down the chi. Let's do that again. Let's do eagle claw. So we're going to inhale, arms up, and bring down fist. Then let's inhale, fist to chest. Exhale, push it towards the sky. Inhale, bring it back down to your chest. Open up the palms like we did and spread the feathers. Exhale, push it forward like a stop sign. Once again, inhale back to your chest. Exhale out to the side. Now we're going to open and close 5 times. So here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it back. Inhale, fist to chest. This is to increase our mobility. Exhale, sky high. Inhale back to the chest. Open up the fingers. Exhale, push it forward. Inhaling back to the chest. Exhale out to the side. Look if you can. Turn your head if you can. And open. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it back to your waist. Let's do one more each side. Inhale, fist to chest. Exhale, sky high. Reach, reach, reach. Inhale back to your chest. Open up that palm. Exhale, push it forward. Inhaling back to your chest. Exhale out to the side. Open and close. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it back. Last time. Here we go. Inhale, fist to chest. Exhale, sky high. Reach, reach, reach. Inhale back to your chest. Open up the fingers. Exhale, push it forward. Inhaling back to your chest. Exhale out to the side. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Bring it back to your waist. And let's do that finishing breath. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up, and bring down that energy. Beautiful. Go ahead and let's take a leg out to the side. Rest on the back of the heel, toes towards you. We're getting that sensation of the calf muscle there. When we do the motion in just a bit, it's considered to be the second heart in our body, bringing blood flow from those lower extremities back into the heart. And let's go ahead and point the toes away. It may feel different than toes towards you. It may not feel different. And then let's pump the calf. So toes towards you and away. If you're on carpet, you might have to be a little bit more careful. I'm digging a little hole in my carpet here. The foot pump, the calf pump is good for reducing blood glucose. So this is a nice little thing you can do after a heavy meal. If you can't get that walk in, pump those calves. And then let's bring it in. Let's do the other side. So fling, get it out there. And then toes towards you, push that heel away. If it's feeling spicy in the back of the knee, bend the knee a little bit, but you're still flexing and toes towards you. So notice what you notice. Does this feel different than the other side? It might. And then go ahead and point it away. And then let's get that calf pump going on. Here we go. Oof. So this also helps to prevent foot cramps, improve ankle flexibility. And again, it's considered to be the second heart, according to traditional Chinese medicine. And get that blood flow into the heart. Love it. And then bring it in. From here, I'm going to scoot back on my chair just a little bit because we're going to do a little bit more of the ankle articulation. And this is good for keeping our balance. So a lot of people are going, well, how can we work on balance in chair Tai Chi? Well, with this next move, fingers back underneath the knees and lift that knee up and point and flex. So notice, we did the point and flex on the floor, but now we don't have any floor restricting us, maybe a greater range of motion. And then let's pause and look at it. And then we're going to draw the circle in, a tiny little circle. And just notice your fine motor skills, if they are there, mine or not. And then make it a little medium size. And then a big size. Maybe some snap, crackle, pops. And then pause. Now we're going to draw the opposite direction. Tiny little circle. That's tough for me. And then medium circle. Well, that's much easier. And then that big circle. Again, we strengthen the knees with our knee movements, strengthening the ankles here with these ankle articular movements, and release. Other side, so lift it up, and I'll lean back a little bit when I do this, and then we're going to point and flex. So here we go. Now you can also alternatively interlace the fingers on top of the shin. You'll feel the shin muscle being activated when you do that. So, choose whichever one you want to do, okay? Okay, ooh, my foot just snapped there. And then relax it, and then look at it. I gotta move my arm to see it, and then draw a circle inward. Ooh, this one's jaggedy. Ugh. Then make it a medium circle, or shape, I should say, and that big shape. Mine's more of an oval. It's not a circle. Ooh. This one's more stiff than the other. And then relax it. Okay, and then we're going to do the other direction. So look at it and go the other direction. Ooh. Again, notice what you notice. Make it a medium. And then a little bit bigger. Very good. My foot's snapping and tapping. And release. All right, from here, we'll be doing the spinal cord breathing, which is a variation of seated cat-cow. So what we're going to do is do our finishing breath. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up. And then bring down that energy back down. Now we're going to keep it here at chest level with those cupped hands. Okay, so this is how we're going to do this. Again, I'm away from the back of the chair to facilitate a flexion and extension of my spine. So let's breathe in, elbows up, chest forward. Exhale, curve the spine to the back of the chair and kind of bring the head down towards the fists. And again, coming out of that pelvic tilt, inhale, elbows up. Exhale, curve that spine. And again, inhaling up and exhaling. Now let's turn to the side this time. So inhaling up, up, up. Woo, get into those lungs. Back to the center. Other side. Here we go. Elbows up. Exhale, back to the center. Let's go back to the center. Elbows up, up, up. Last one. Exhaling. And let's do that finishing breath. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Bring down that energy. Beautiful. All right, from here, let's do Parry. So we're going to draw a circle in. I'm going to bring my feet a little wider and draw the other circle in. So we're shifting our weight from one bun to the other. So this is for your core, for your brain. But you kind of know if there's something going on with your back when you feel this too. You may want to go like littler circles if you're feeling some challenges there. And then we're going to pause and then wipe it out. And see if you can wipe out a little bigger than what you were wiping in. So y'all know this. This is that wax on, wax off. Or maybe you don't know. That's okay, either way. It's that Karate Kid. The first film, I think. Yeah? Yeah. Where Mr. Miyagi is teaching Daniel the art, the martial art, and he has them polishing his cars. All right, and now let's do the wash the windows. Okay, here we go. I don't know if you ever watched the windows, but in Cobra Kai, if you are following the Karate Kid saga, they were washing windows, which was part of, the wax on, wax off, Not that you wanted to know or needed to know that. You just found out. And then we're going to pause and wipe it in. It takes a couple of times to kind of get into this groove, Now, if you want to get a little bit more deeper into your lungs, into the muscles that supports those ribs, you make fists and bring elbows across. It's elbow digs while we're still doing the Parry movement. And again, if this doesn't appeal to you, then you just go back to what we were doing. You might notice air happening, as in burping, and let's just say other things maybe. And then bring it down on top. Wipe it in, wipe it in, wipe it in. Smaller, smaller, smaller. You might be noticing some sensations here in the hands. That's just kind of energy traveling through our body. So we're going to bring our hands here at our chest, at our collarbone, elbows up. We're going to do a Tai Chi ball. We're going to bring our arms forward. Now, our elbows are lower than our hands. And we're trying to line up the fingers with one another. So not one hand up and down. It's kind of in a line as best you can. And again, sit up nice and tall. From here, I invite you to inhale and bring the arms apart. And then exhale, bring them in. So it's like pulling taffy. So let's do that again. Inhale, draw them apart. You might notice a buildup of tension happening in those shoulders, in those arms. Again, do what you can with what you got. Bring it in. And again, inhaling out. Exhaling. Now to be still with the elbows down, hands here in front. This is considered to be like a meditative state. It's called a wuji, being empty, or a wuji or a mushin. I'm going between Korean and Japanese, China martial arts. So we have it means the same thing, but different words, being empty. So just listen to the breath going in and going out. Once again, inhaling and exhaling. Let's bring those arms down and inhale, circle, sweep arms up, slow, 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 slow. And then bring them down in a heart. We're doing the blood pressure technique. And then we're going to bring the hands forward, thumbs into the palms, fingers on top of the thumbs. And then inhale, elbows back, chest forward. And as we exhale, we bring the arms out to the side. Now we're turning the arms again to stimulate that heart meridian, okay? And then inhale, up, 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 up. Exhale, bring it down. So if you have high blood pressure, low blood pressure, grab those thumbs, inhale, elbows back. This equalizes it. Exhale, out to the side. And again, inhaling up. Exhale, bring it down. Grab those thumbs. Here we go. Inhale, elbows back, chest forward. Squeeze that back. Exhale, out to the side. Inhaling up, 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 up. Exhale, bring it down. This is the last one. Grab those thumbs. Here we go. Inhale, shoulders back, chest forward. Exhale out to the side. And let's do the finishing breath right here. Inhaling up. Exhale, bring it on down. Excellent. All right, from here, clap the hands and get some heat in those palms. Let's do a little bit more for our knees, okay? So we're going to bring that heat into our knees. And this is kind of like the theory of, if you have an achy place in your body, you'll take a heating pad or you'll take a hand and kind of rub that place. Similar kind of thing. We're trying to reduce the itis, the inflammation. Go the other circle, the other direction. I think when we become more vintage, there's not, we got to do a lot of stuff for all the different things that we have going on. Yeah. All right. Now, again, clap your hands and let's do like you're making meatballs. So you're really igniting the fire here. Get that heat going and maybe back and forth as if you're starting the fire with that little stick. Move it into your fingers a little bit. And then take a hand on the knee and the opposite hand on the shoulder and gentle on the shoulder joint. I don't think it's as nice on the shoulder as it is on the knee, but that's just my personal opinion. All right, and again, ignite the fires. Sometimes the claps make it hotter, sometimes it does not. Okay, hand on the knee, hand on the shoulder. Here we go. Very good. And reverse it if you want to. So the next thing is our thymus thump. We're going to take those middle fingers. You can do one hand or two hands. Go from your collarbone down a little bit. I'm going to move my necklace and thump your thymus. So that's to help increase T cell production. Your thymus gland is underneath here. And some people will, tap here and just notice if it feels spicy. It might. Maybe you do have some inflammation going on in your body. Again, I encourage you to look up Big Six, Dr. Parry Nicholson, to get some more information. Yeah, if you're curious about this. And then from here, let's take it to a shoulder and get that shoulder. I'm going to lift my arm, go to the outside of the arm, and then turn palm up, go on the inside, and go back to that shoulder again, and to the outside of the arm. Here we go, tap, tap, tap. And into the palm, up the inside, and then wipe off that excess energy. Okay, other side. Here we go to the shoulder. So get a little bit of stuff going on there. You can also rub if you like instead. Just know that, okay? And I'm going to take it down the outside of the arm, tap, 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 and do palm up and up the inside of the arm. Go back to that shoulder. Can I stay here? And then take it to the outside and do the palm and bring it up and stay here just for a little bit. And then let go of that excess energy. All right, beautiful. From here, bring the ankle bones together. We're going to do jitterbug. So again, isolation of that ankle joint. So we're going to go heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, out to the side. You may want to hang on to your chair, or maybe you're going to twist the upper body. Depends what kind of chair you have. This one's a metal one, so my behind's moving, quite freely, but my behind's getting kind of warm. You may be noticing that too. All right, and bring it to the center. Bring it to the center. Now, that heels out, toes in, looks kind of awkward, feels awkward, and independently walk them out and then bring them in. So this may be where you notice, okay, ooh, that right ankle is more strong than the left, or not. Maybe they're the same. Maybe you're noticing stiffness, okay? So again, this is to help have better walking ability, better gait by working from the feet to the toes, okay? Especially in the feet. Ooh. One more, all the way out and all the way in. Now, From here, stomp those feet. Or a little tantrum here. And come up on the balls of the feet, shake the legs. It's good for avoiding leg cramps. And again, stomp those feet. And shake those legs. From here, I'm going to come up towards the edge of my chair and slide a leg out and in. So we do this in our chair yoga class. It's called the air pose, but we call it Sumo Stomp in Chair Tai Chi. So we're going to add a little air to it and maybe let the foot drop. If you don't like the foot dropping, just land it softly. This is the getting in and out of the car movement, maybe getting in and out of the bathtub. You got back pain, you're going to definitely notice that in this particular movement. Let's do the other side. So again, slide it out. Again, you can use your hand to guide. There may be a little snap, crackle, pop happening here in that hip joint. Just kind of notice what you notice, right? And then start lifting it up. Notice what you can do with your own muscular strength, no hands. And then maybe go a little bit higher past your normal range of motion. So this is Sumo Stomp. We're going to move this into Sumo Rukkos next. So bring it back to the center. So Sumo Rukkos is basically you're going to vocalize. And then, yeah, it's kind of weird and strange and fun and community building. So we're going to inhale, hi-ya. And then, hi-ya, hi-ya, hi-ya. Again, hi-ya, hi-ya, hi-ya. Last one, hi-ya. Woo! Inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Bring down the chi. And then clap the hands. Little heat, bring the feet apart. Let's get the hips right here. You may have felt a little challenge in those hip bones. And get the back side, those kidneys, the livers. You may do the back of the hands when you're rubbing the back. Very good. Bring it down the tops of the legs, the undersides, the insides, the outsides. Let's get the shins. Why not? And the calves. And the other side. Very good. Let's inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Bring down the chi. From here, inhale, arm out to the side. Actually, and exhale. Now let's inhale, bring it across. Exhale out to the side. Inhale up and over. And exhale, land it out in front of you. And bring it back to the center. It's called swallow flies to its nest. Inhale, bring it across. Exhale out to the side. Inhaling up and over. And exhaling. Let's add the poem to it here. Swallow flies east, breathe in. Swallow flies west, breathe out. Swallow flies up and over. And then lands in its nest. Back to the center. Other side. Swallow flies east, doesn't know directions. Swallow flies west. Inhaling up and over. And exhale, land in your nest. Let's do that again. Swallow flies east. Swallow flies west. Swallow flies up and over. And lands in its nest. Once again, last time, swallow flies east. Breathing in. Swallow flies west. Exhaling. Swallow flies up and over. Stretch over. And lands in its nest. From here, inhale, circle, sweep arms up. And bring down that energy. So there's a thing in the first section of Tai Chi where we do striking moves and we'll form the hook of our hands. So you bring all your fingers to your thumb. We use this also in Young Man Praise. So, just practice with me right here. It looks like a little gooseneck, yeah? You bring all your fingers to your thumb as best you can. And then we'll start the movement here. So basically, we're going to have our hands down out here to the side. And then we'll inhale, arms up into a letter V with our fingers to our thumb. So inhale up. Very good. Then exhale, push away with flex the wrists. Inhaling, circle the arms towards one another, fingers towards one another. And then create a little circle here where you had the side of the hands. Now bring the hands together towards you. Fingers up, fingers towards your chest, fingers up, point away, bring it out and down. That's pretty complicated, but let's do it again. So inhale, Again, get those fingers ready, okay? Inhale up. Exhale, push away. Bring those fingers towards you in a circle. Now turn the hands, side of the pinkies, palms together, draw it towards you, fingers up, fingers towards your chest, fingers up, pointed away, out and down. And again, inhaling up. Exhale, push it away. Inhaling, bringing it towards you, and then create that little circle, sides of the pinkies, palms together, fingers up, fingers towards your chest, fingers up, forward, out, and down. Now, here's a little thing we can add on to it. Raising a leg. Now, if that's not you, that's okay. You can actually just like have your toe on the floor, heel lifted. So you kind of choose, okay? So here we go. Inhaling up. Keep it up. Exhale, push it away. Inhaling, bring the fingers together. Exhale, make that circle. Palms together, towards you, up, out, and down. Woo! Let's do that again. Inhaling up. Exhale, push it away. Inhaling, bring it in. Exhaling, sides of the hands, palms together, towards you, up. And here we go, out and down. Let's do the finishing breath. Inhaling up. Exhale, bring it down. All right, we're going to do one more sequence. It's called teacup exercise. So from here, I'll have a palm up. So have your palm up, and we're sitting again away from the back of the chair here. We're going to bring the palm towards our armpit and bring the elbow out to the side. Now I'm going to hinge forward, hide the hand. The objective is to keep the palm up in the teacup exercise. Then you lean out and you bring your arm out. So you kind of lean out the opposite direction as you're bringing that palm. So it's palm up. You're going to draw a low circle and a high circle like a tornado. So here we go. Keep that palm up as best you can. And bring it back. Woo! Did you spill your tea? Always like my tea kind of spills a little bit. Let's try that again. So arm to the armpit or palm to the armpit. Elbow out. Hide the hand. Lean out. Bring that arm out at the same time. Belly button tight here, okay? And start drawing that circle upward, keeping the palm up. And bring it in. Very good. We're going to do that one more time. Hand to the armpit. Elbow out, hide the hand. Very good. Arm out to the side, lean out. I almost forgot. And draw that circle. Ooh, I spilt my tea. And bring it back. Okay, let's do the other side. Let's kind of forget that muscle memory on that one side, and let's do the other side. So here we go. Palm up, lean forward, palm to the armpit, and then elbow out, and then hide your hand behind you. Feel that squeeze of the armpit here. Oh, very good. And then lean out, palm up. Okay, here we go. Belly button tight and draw that circle. Lean back. Ooh, it's kind of like boat pose in yoga when we do that. And bring it in. You might be grunting. Just know that, okay? Okay, here we go. We're going to do that again. So lean forward, hand to the armpit, elbow out, hide your hand. That's my favorite place. Can we stay here? No, we can't. Lean out, arm out to the side. Okay, it's palm up. And look at it if you can. Make sure it's palm up. Oh, my goodness. And bring it out. Now, the rumor is if you stick out your tongue, it makes it easier. I don't know if that's true. We're going to try it. So here we go. I can't talk if I do that. Very well. Palm to the armpit, elbow out, hide your hand, palm out to the side. Now stick out your tongue. Here we go. I don't think it's true, okay? Let's do it one more time. Lean forward, hand to the armpit, elbow out, hide your hand, arm out to the side, lean out. Here we go. Draw a low circle and then spiral it up. Woo! And bring it in. Let's inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Bring down that energy. All right, I'm going to come a little bit closer for this next part. Y'all can stay there. A little bit of hand tapping energy work that we do in Chair Tai Chi. It's very specific to this practice. And of course, my chair squeaks. From here, we're going to tap, tap, tap the pinky side. So that's for helping with easing headaches and vertigo. So again, this is the heart meridian that kind of goes through our body. And again, we're not whapping, it's just tapping. So this is just like a little sampler. So you should do each location about a minute each day if you can. All right, and next is the interwebs of the thumb. So in that little interwebs of the thumbs, and we're going to take the other interwebs and tap into that area. So that's for digestive disorders, nausea. I know my mom would always like pinch into this area when I was a kiddo, when I had a stomach ache. And I'm like, stop. Well, now I know. So that probably is, and I don't remember off the top of my head if that's a gallbladder or the stomach meridian. Okay. I'll have to look that up. Okay, now we got to switch it and get a little extra time. So flip it, switch it. Of course, my watch is going to make some noise here. All right, so the next area is the interwebs of the fingers. So that's for pain or numbness in the limb. So you do the interlacing and you tap into those areas. Now, if you got rings clanging, you're going to be a little bit sweeter, yeah. When I teach this in my class earlier, I have a couple of people that have bracelets, and you can hear the ching, 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 jingling of the bracelets, yeah. Now here comes the weird thing about this. You're gonna make it still, and you're gonna look at the finger that's on top. That's your normal way of interlacing your fingers. Now you're gonna wiggle it and then move it to where the other finger's on top. That might weird out your brain. And tap, tap, tap. We're just creating new neural pathways when we do things out of the ordinary. Okay, so here we go. Plus, we're getting a little extra pain or numbness in the limbs stimulation with those meridians. So the meridians, we have a different one for each finger, and some of them have more than one meridian, by the way. Okay. And I went back to my regular interlacing. How about that? Okay, so the next is the pulse points. Okay, so that's the heart cardiovascular issues. So some people will go like this, but I like to go up and down because we get to do it twice as long. Some people will place it down on their leg and tap, but when I do that, I'm tapping too hard, in my opinion. So I like this one instead. And then flip it. Let's do a little bit more. Move those synovial fluids through those joints in our body, and especially the hands. I don't know where the arthritis starts first. I guess it's different on each person, depending on if you've had injuries, that kind of thing. But the body is an amazing thing. It's trying to build more bones in those areas where we're not having much movement, by the way. All right, so next is the back of the hand. That's for osteoarthritis, back pain. So again, if I had I'm going to do one with my ring. I'm not going to do the ring on top of the hand. I'm going to curve my hand a little bit and do that tapping. Osteo means bone. Arth means joint. Itis means inflammation. Osteoarthritis. Now I'm going to shift this to the back of the wrist on this side. So that's for neck and shoulder pain. So again, it's a cupped type of thing. Makes a nice little sound there. Now let's go over to the other side because you probably thought, oh, we need to do the other side. Well, let's do that. Top of the hand, osteoarthritis, back pain. I'm going to cup my hand. I kind of like the cupped hand. Well, my heart rate's still pretty up. It's 107. And then move it to the wrist. Now I'm going to go here just a little bit above. So I got my watch there. Again, neck and shoulder pain. Whew. Now make a fist. We're going to punch the palm. So that's for lessening stress, anxiety, improved clarity and consciousness. So let's kind of get in there. Now I am a little bit more strong on this than tapping, okay? I like to make a little sound. Now let's do the other one. So you may notice one side's more strong than the other. Oh yeah. Very good. Now I'm going to shift forward a little bit, clap the hands, a little bit of heat. We haven't done this one in a while. So place a hand on the leg, and then I'm going to take the pad of my finger underneath the knuckle of my first finger, my index finger, to get that little stretch at the base of the thumb. Again, you're always keeping this between the easy and ouch. It's good for trigger finger. And release. Let's go to the index finger. Ooh, that one's stiff. Kind of jammed this about a year ago, and it's still a little stiff, yeah? But doing these movement sequences for the hands makes it always feel a little bit better. You can do this sitting in the car if you're not driving. Watch a little TV. All right, go to the ring finger. You try to keep the other ones down, but be relaxed in the rest of the hand if you can, yeah? And release it. And do the pinky there at the joint. And release it. Now do the thumb. And release. Let's go to the other side. Again, pad of the finger underneath the first knuckle and then lift up. Again, don't go past a point of no return, so to speak. You know, maybe you're feeling a little bit of a challenge going on. And release. Go to that middle finger. You're also comparing left versus right. How does this feel on this side compared to the other side? You may have more challenges in your dominant hand, the hand that you write with, the hand that you mouse with, than you do the other hand, or vice versa. And release. If you do crafting, that's usually both hands, or if you work with tools, again, you probably have a dominant side when you're working a power tool. And release. And do the pinky. Here we go. Pinky, pinky. So yes, we're holding this a little bit, yeah? And release it down. Do the thumb, because it's jealous if you don't do it. Oh my goodness. Okay, and release. From here, fists, like balled up fists, and then scary cat hands. Back to fists. It's hard to say. Fists. And cat fingers. Fists and cat fingers. Now take the cat fingers to your knees. And again, let's just do a little extra acupressure stimulation here around the knees, around the meniscuses, and reverse. Okay. Now I'm going to take off my glasses. Another thing that we can do on the face is a little bit of more lymphatic drainage. So you take that ring finger and you get here right next to the nose and you go out just a little bit, find that little hollow, and you press in and away and breathe in. You should open up your breathing a little bit, your sinus cavity. Very good. And then we're going to take the finger pads, and here at the inside of the face, of the eyebrows, I should say, tap, tap, tap. Go from the inside of the eyebrows to the outside of the eyebrows, and back in. That's for tension headaches. And then going back to one of the areas that we addressed earlier in our big six, the fingers in front and back of the ears, stroke down the side of the jawline. So you're trying to have like a little tug on the skin and then draw it towards the chin. So, you grit your teeth. You tend to maybe grind your teeth. This is helpful for TMJ type of symptoms. And let's do the other side again, front and the back of the ear. And again, there's a little tug here, and then pull it down. So it's a little bit more tactile feeling sensation than what we were doing with the big six. The big six is more light. This is more targeted. And then once again, taking the fingers here back behind, find that bump of the head. That's the top of the atlas point, and just kind of rub here at the very back, and bring it towards the back of the ears. Notice if your hearing is enhanced when you have the palms in front of your ears. Then go back to the back of the head, up and down, and go to the back of the ears. Let's do that one more time. Very good. Let's do a little bit of guided rest and relaxation and that gratitude practice. So let's sit back in our chair, kind of feel your behind, your back, your feet grounded into the surface that's supporting you. And if you would, maybe close the eyes or maybe gaze the eyes down at the floor. And imagine there's this little hole here at the crown of the head. And as we're breathing in, we're bringing in the healing light of sunshine. So bring in the healing. It's saturating every cell in the body. The bones, the muscles, the tendons. From the top of the head, going through the head, the chest, the arms, the torso, the pelvis, down the legs, down the knees to the tips of the toes. Bring in the healing, bring in the light. See it, feel it. Imagine everything that's got that bright sunshine just saturating your body, bringing in that healing. As we're here, we're going to do an elongated breath. So I'll clap my hands to a count of 4 as we breathe in. We'll pause, and then we'll exhale to a count of 5. So again, that's to help reduce that blood pressure, lower that heart rate, kind of calm our nervous system. So let's begin. Breathe in, pausing, and slowly exhale. Once again, breathe in, slowly exhale. Once again, breathe in, belly big. Slowly exhale. From here, I invite you to open those eyes, flutter those eyelids, wiggle those fingers, kind of feet up and down. Come away from the back of the chair, have the feet be wide and hands on the legs. And let's start with wide shoulder circles. Now, of course, my chair is going to squeak. And then let's pause and go the other direction. One more time, all the way around. Coming back to the center. Let's go back to that Atlas point rotation where we took that nose and drew a circle. Notice what you notice. Might be more noisy. Maybe there's a greater range of motion. Maybe not. And then pause and go the other direction. One more time, and then join me to the center. Very good. Hands together. Let's do that swimming dragon. And again, a gentle push into the fingers, into the palms, and sit up tall. Wiggle those shoulders a little bit. Let's breathe in. Exhale, push one direction, turn the head. Notice what you notice. Inhale back to the center. Exhale, push the other way. Inhaling back to the center. Very good. So let's bring our hands stacked upon our heart, either together or stacked, and draw your chin towards your chest in gratitude just showing up today. I appreciate your dedication, your discipline, your determination, and that responsibility for signing up for a class, for coming to class, for maybe watching a video later on. You're on your journey of healing when you're coming to a Tai Chi, a yoga class, a movement sequence, a yoga nidra practice. So it's all very important. Let's think of something that we're grateful for, whether it's an idea of gratitude or something, that you can really pinpoint and go, yeah, I'm really grateful for that. And grab it, clasp it, and let's place it into our heart space. And then from here, raise your head. Let's end our class as we started. We're going to do that right fist. That's the sun. And that flat left palm, that's the moon. Then we bow down to one another to end our chair Tai Chi class. That concludes our practice of chair Tai Chi. If you wish to